When Henry Tudor defeated Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth in 1485, the War of the Roses was finally ended.
A year later, King Henry VII married Elizabeth of York, uniting the warring houses of York and Lancaster into a single nation.
At last, the red and white roses became one under the long-lasting Tudor dynasty.
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded. What rhymes with died?
Survived!
What? Don't be ridiculous.
Now, Henry, you know what the doctors have said about your temper.
Stuff and nonsense. Fried, aha, in oil. Yes, that's it now. Play a tune, Will.
Your Majesty.
Ah, yes. They don't write them like that anymore, do they?
No, Your Majesty, you don't.
It takes me back to my youth, Will. I was so happy as a young boy at Elton with my dear mother and sisters. There was always music and dancing, and I was spoiled rotten as a child.
Nothing's changed there.
And then, when I was only 10 years old, my older brother Arthur, the Prince of Wales, died suddenly.
Oh, that's awful, sir.
Arthur is dead. The words kept beating upon my mind like rain upon a window.
Oh, please don't, sir. I get so upset.
It was the happiest day of my life.
What?
Don't look at me like that. I hardly knew the boy. And anyway, I was to become king.
He died from pneumonia, they say.
Poor boy.
Look, there's Catherine, his young bride.
Poor girl.
See how all the poppies are weeping?
Poor.
I sent him to Wales, and it seems that by so doing, I have made you king.
Then I shall be king.
First, Henry, you must learn how to be.
Father, you know that I will be a great king. It is my destiny.
He is young, Henry, and has the confidence of youth.
He is boastful and arrogant.
He will learn in his time.
For the sake of all England, I hope so.
Then it is settled. I am to be king. And you, dear lady, shall be my queen.
And the queen she became. I was only 18 years old when my father died at Richmond Palace. They were all so worried about what I would do when I became king that they kept it a secret for 2 whole days.
He kept it from Your Majesty.
Oh, my father's ministers and advisors. I remember those 2 awful tax collectors. So Richard Empson and Edmund Dudley tried desperately hard to win me over before I was handed my crown.
They must have been worried.
They had every right to be. I had them beheaded.
At least that's cheered him up.
Oh, to see the look on their faces when I told them. How people cheered when the axe came down.
You're always good with the rest, sir.
Ah, yes. That reminds me. Advertise for new jester.
So are you talking about your coronation?
Was I? Ah, yes. What a wonderful day that was. My new bride and son at Westminster Abbey before all of London. The year was 1509 on the 24th of June, and at last England could celebrate.
Well, you join us here on a fine August day in France as 2 sides prepare to what is sure to be a very interesting battle indeed. The bookies have made the home side clear favourites because of their numerical advantage and their ability to cheat. Anyway, it's time now to meet our 2 sides. In one corner we have the French, led by King Louis XII. And attacking them, we have the visiting English side, led by their young King Henry VIII.
play.
Very costly one, Your Majesty. I really don't think we can afford to.
Oh, don't be such an old misery, Wolsey. After all, we can't possibly let that big show-off outdo us. Have you got that tent up yet?
No, sir. Nobody likes a show-off.
Henry, welcome to my humble gathering. I see you brought your camping gear with you.
This, Wolsey, is a woman who knows the meaning of the word style. Unfortunately, though, she doesn't know how to use it.
What would you know, you pompous, toffee-nosed English twit?
Now, Your Majesties, let's try to remember why we're here. Now shake hands like good royals.
Sire, this has been sent from England by your wife.
It is the coat of James VI of Scotland. My army has won at Flodden. God bless England and St. George!
After the successful wars against France and Scotland, Henry briefly controlled the balance of power in Europe.
The King's Lord Chancellor and Archbishop Thomas Wolsey tried to remain on friendly terms with both Charles V of Spain and Sir Francis I of France.
Fearing an increase in Charles's power, Wolsey arranged for Henry to meet Sir Francis in Calais to seal the alliance.
Both kings used this meeting to show off their wealth and riches in what became known as the Field of the Cloth of Gold.
Henry, it seemed, could do no wrong. He was the toast of Europe. He held a magnificent court. He surrounded himself with brilliant scholars like Wolsey or Sir Thomas More.
But Henry lacked the thing he most wanted, a male heir to the throne. Fearing that this was God's revenge on him for marrying his brother's wife, he went about seeking divorce so that he could wed his new love, Anne Boleyn.
Thomas and Thomas. Come in, gentlemen. The question of my marriage to Catherine must be resolved. I will have an annulment.
But your Majesty, the Pope himself has forbidden it.
Then he must be persuaded. After all, was not declared defender of the faith? Is the law of the church greater than the law of the king?
Sire, you gave me your word that you would never make me choose between the church and the throne.
Sir Thomas, a promise may be broken as easily as a neck.
I am sure there is a solution to this problem.
Then find it, Cranmer, or share the same fate as Wolsey, that doubting Thomas.
Then I regret to inform you, sire, that I must resign as Lord Chancellor. I cannot put the interest of any man before God, not even those of the king.
What say you to this treason, Thomas Cromwell?
Your Majesty, it is believed in the Parliament that the clergy have too much power and I believe we need laws to reduce it. What of the monasteries, sire? They can be dissolved, sire, as easily as your marriage.
Then Thomas Cromwell, I declare you Chief Minister, and I shall leave you both to resolve this great matter between you.
Henry, wake up!
What? Oh, good heavens, I must have been dreaming.
Well, you were shouting a lot. We thought you were making up your birthday execution list and we did not want to disturb you. Willie's terrified.
Serves him right. Those tricks of his are getting worse. Or perhaps it's me, Catherine. How have I become such a monster?
A monster, Henry, you're the king.
Yes, I dreamt of being a great ruler like King Arthur, loved and admired by all my subjects, and for a while it all seemed possible.
You were the toast of all Europe and loved by your subjects.
But look what I have become, an ugly bloated invalid who murders anyone who stands in his way. I've broken with the Church of Rome and carved a path of blood to the throne for my own children.
And what man would not do the best for his children?
Bring them to me, Catherine. I wish to see my children once more.
They're here to see you, my husband.
Edward, my son, so you shall be king as I have stated in my will.
But Father, I'm but 9 years old. How will I know what to do?
You must study hard and take counsel from your uncle, the Duke of Somerset. And when you are ready, be the king that I once tried to be.
Father, you will recover and you'll soon be fighting the French again.
A happy thought, Mary, but alas, I think not. I have stated in my rule that if, God forbid, anything should happen to Edward, you and then Elizabeth will be next in line for the throne.
We'll try to make you proud of us, Father.
I am, my dear Elizabeth, but now you must leave me. I need to rest. I feel so very tired now. So very, very tired.
Henry, you have done many wicked things during your reign. You have often acted in a cruel and selfish manner, as I always knew you would. But my son, I have in many ways misjudged you. I always believed you to be lazy and careless, and yet you proved yourself a worthy leader. All men have weaknesses, and you are no exception, but very few have the courage of conviction to follow through their beliefs. You have ensured that the throne of England will remain in the House of Tudor for many generations to come, and each of your 3 children will someday wear the crown as you did. But now, Henry, the time has come for you to leave your suffering behind. Follow me to where your pain can no longer hurt you.
Elizabeth I came to the throne in 1558 upon the death of her half-sister, Queen Mary. She angered Mary's husband, King Philip II of Spain, by quickly pushing through the laws that made to England once again a Protestant country.
Philip had hoped that Elizabeth would marry him, but she refused, sending him cannonballs in exchange for his gifts of diamonds and pearls. When Elizabeth's great rival, Philip's Catholic cousin, was beheaded in charge of treason in 1587, England and Spain were at war.
This is the final straw. First she knights that pirate Francis Drake for sinking my ships at Cadiz, and now she's murdered my cousin? Quickly, send for Duke Medina Sidonia and the Duke of Parma. With God's help, I'll curb insolence and the sacrilege of English.
Your Majesty, I have news from Spain.
So it appears that Spain is at war with us. Is there any other mail?
No, Mum, only another sonnet by the pestilent poet from Stratford.
Oh yes, what was his name again? It amused me, if I recall.
Shakespeare, Your Majesty. Mr. William Shakespeare.
Ha! Nice one, Cecil. What chance has he got with a name as silly as that?
He's never exactly going to be Thomas Kidd, is he, Your Majesty?
No, Walter. Mind you, at least he doesn't bring back ridiculous-looking plants every time he's away. What was that thing he found last year?
It's called a potato, Ma'am, from the new lands of Virginia.
Awful thing to smoke. It completely ruined my best pipe.
Enough of this foolishness. Let us dance, for soon we must prepare for war.
Gentlemen, our aim is to invade England so that we may for once and for all put an end to Queen Elizabeth's reign of heresy.
We're honoured, Your Majesty. All of Spain awaits your commands.
Placing you in command of a great armada, Sidonia. Your task is to form a shield across the English Channel. That will give our armies a safe passage over the sea from Calais.
But, Your Highness, I have never led a sea command before.
I have faith in you, Sidonia. Parma, you will lead the land forces.
It will be an honour, Your Majesty.
I have dedicated this enterprise to God.
The Great Spanish Armada set sail from the port of Lisbon in May 1588.
There were 131 galleons, each weighing over 200 tons, making a fleet that stretched out for 2 miles.
However, things soon went wrong. Sir Francis Drake had famously singed the King of Spain's bed by attacking the port of Cadiz in 1587.
This had led to a shortage of materials used to make food containers for the fleet.
Consequently, many sailors suffered from food poisoning, and following a series of terrible storms, Sidonia's fleet was forced into Corona Harbour for repairs.
Meanwhile, in England, plans were being made.
The sooner we go, the better. The Spanish are defenceless.
Why risk the fleet? If you delay by weather or your fleet destroyed, England will be wide open to invasion.
I agree, Your Majesty. The risk is too great.
Your Majesty, I am a man of the world and...
Sir Francis, you're in fact the only man of the world, because the only man to have been round it. But my decision is final. We shall wait.
Then I fear we'll be too late, for as we speak, the Spanish prepare for war.
Then we must be ready. Let us leave for Plymouth immediately.
Time to set sail. Forward in God's name!
Your Majesty, beacons are burning all across the coastline.
The Armada is no more than 30 miles away. We must set sail at once.
Winds are against us now. We have time to finish the game and beat the Spaniards afterwards. That's it. I win. Now it's time for battle. Let's pick out their feathers one by one.
England, for the first time since 1066, was in danger of being invaded.
As the English fleet went out to meet the Armada, they found themselves outnumbered by around 30 galleons.
Drake tried to take advantage of the speed of his smaller ships by picking the Spaniards out one at a time, but the formation remained steady and England's course looked lost. When Sidonia reached Calais on the 6th of August, he found to his dismay that the army had been delayed by 2 weeks. His ships were now stranded like sitting ducks. Francis Drake took advantage by floating fire ships or hell burners into the Armada.
Finally, the formation was broken up, and Drake's fleet was able to pick out the Spanish ships one at a time.
Fighting during the Battle of Gravelines was so fierce that nothing could be seen for over an hour through the smoke.
Sidonia's flagship, the San Martin, was destroyed, and over 4,000 Spanish sailors were killed, compared to only 60 English. On board the Armada was found the dreaded Spanish Inquisition, famed for their brutal methods of torture.
England was spared and victory was celebrated across the land. Not for another 100 years was she so in danger of outside invasion.
I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart of a king of England too. That any Falscorn or Palmer or any prince of Europe should dare to invade my borders of my realm.
Your Majesty, if you look at these poor soldiers, they will starve once you have disbanded their army, and it would grieve any man's heart to see those who serve eventually die so miserably.
Lord Howard, I believe you speak from the heart, and your words has touched our hearts as well. All that have served will receive a Medal of Honour. We can't afford to support a full army in times of peace.
I believe, Your Majesty, that we may have found a solution. Hawkins and I have decided to set up a voluntary fund for the support the sailors maimed or injured in the Navy.
With your permission, Your Majesty, we propose that this jest be held at Chatham Dockyard, where a small portion of each sailor's wages will be placed in case of injury or illness.
We'll ensure that no sailor will ever starve again.
It shall be done in honour of those who have served so well.